My name is Kyle Travis. I'm here with the man, James Abroad. And wait, what am I introducing? Wait, don't you start it off or what?
No, you say like you failed.
All right, let's go.
Well, we failed on this intro, and that works for me.
My name is Kyle Travis, and I've failed too many times to attempt. I'm going to have a couple more failures within this next segment, and so buckle up and get ready.
Oh, that was good. I like both of those, to be honest with you, so I'm good with either one. Well, welcome to the Failed Podcast. I'm here with my good friend Kyle Travis, which I'm very grateful. Successful basketball trainer, and he has amassed close to 200,000 Instagram followers, which is crazy and just killing it. You know, I've known him since I was in high school, and he is Mr. I Can B-Ball himself. Throwback here, man-child. Did you know we called you that?
He goes way back. Yes, that was the 8th grade. They allowed me to play on the varsity team, on the high school varsity team. And that stuck for a while. I think I was a senior in high school, and they still called me man-child.
Because the thing was, like, you may not believe this, he's looked like this since he was in 8th grade, okay? So when we were like, I think I was in 9th grade. I was a year older than you, or 2 years, something like that. I saw you, I was like, there's no way that dude's in 8th grade. Like, there's no way, dude. And, like, he was killing us. You know, we had our one-on-one battles. I was on the bench, and he was doing step-back threes, you know. I'll say this. You were killing us so much that I think I was closer on defense than the defender was. From the bench. Because you were just killing everyone. I'm like, yo, he's doing step-back threes, man. Tell us a little bit about what yourself and what you do for the viewers that may not know you.
So I was someone just trying to figure out what I wanted to do for a while. Within the past couple of years, I found my niche and my passion for training kids in the game of basketball. But before that, I was searching. I had a solid position, a city job as an engineering technician. I would go out, do my own thing. I would be in the middle of the streets, put on a vest, put on my AirPods, and just go to work. Just make sure I don't die. I loved it, but I knew I needed to do something more, and I needed to find a niche. Yeah. And took a couple years of putting basketball training in the back burner, and just revisiting. I decided to put away excuses and go for it. Yeah. But it took me a couple years to finally realize what my niche was, and I didn't think it would be basketball training. It's just something I decided to put off just because, I played basketball. Yeah. Doesn't mean I'd be a good teacher of the game. I thought maybe I'd find a niche in stock market. Maybe I had a knack for designing a website or Photoshop or video editing. Yeah. And it just took me to say, you know what, no more excuses. Yeah. I'm going to go build a court in my backyard.
I saw that. And the thing is, you love basketball, and I'm glad that you're getting to do what you love. It's interestingly, I've gotten to, I guess, I don't know the word, watch you from afar or examine you from afar. But it's interesting to me, your stories, because of the fact that, like, you've been playing, I'm pretty sure you had dreams of playing ball, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And tell us a little bit about those dreams and really, I guess, your journey of it actually realizing it wasn't going to happen anymore. And I know that's hard to say if you're comfortable with it, but just when you had those dreams, because we all thought, when we saw you in 8th grade, we were like, yo, this dude's going to the league. You know what I mean? What was your journey of, having those dreams, but then I guess, it's the Failed Podcast. What was that failing point in your life then?
So as a young kid, in my backyard, we had dirt, and we put up a hoop back there. It had one of those plastic backboards. So if you were to shoot a bank shot, it would just plop. Oh. So you had to shoot nothing but swishes. Yeah, you can't use the backboard. Yeah.
Everything will go in if you use the backboard.
Oh, it was my stomping ground. Instead of going straight to the books or straight to a meal, I'd throw down my backpack and go straight to that backyard. Yeah. Little dirt area. If I wanted to shoot a 3, I would have to shoot it from our playground set or from the grass. Right. To shoot an elbow jumper would be on a slab of bricks.
Oh, damn.
And so not a lot of space to operate, but
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time
Yeah.
in there. Eventually, my dad created like a 6x6 pad around the rim so you could do post moves, even though it was a guard. I loved operating in the post.
Yeah.
Just work on footwork stuff or stationary ball handling things.
Yeah.
But I remember looking into the camera, and back when cameras were half the size of the TV,
Yeah.
I said, my name is Kyle Travis,
Mhm.
and I'm going to play in the NBA one day.
Yeah.
And I must have said it multiple times throughout the years.
Yeah.
And it was my goal, and I worked hard at it.
Yeah.
Was one of the top players in Northern California coming in. Then had an injury back-to-back seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Third game of my sophomore year,
Yeah.
and then which was followed by a cardiac arrest before the start of my junior season.
Yeah.
I was a 4-year varsity starter, so I was on pretty good track to go somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
perhaps get some looks, and I was starting to catch the eye of some recruiters. Once the ACL happened, it took about 9 months
Mm-hmm.
to recover, and that was one thing.
So the ACL was before the cardiac.
So yeah,
Okay.
so third game of the season, my sophomore year,
Yeah.
chased the guy down
Mm-hmm.
and blocked his shot and followed the ball as it sailed out of bounds. It was one of my best blocks I've ever had.
Yeah.
I pinned that thing
Yeah.
and I forgot to land. The knee caved in, and I never had an ACL tear before, or never really had a injury that severe. But
Yeah.
I knew I tore my ACL, whatever that was.
Yeah.
I just knew it right then in that moment. There was 40 seconds left, and I told the
Ooh.
trainer, "Look, I could run up and down. I just have trouble moving side to side right now. Can I finish the last 40 seconds?" And then she said, "Mm-mm." And then I was like, "It's 40 seconds. 40
Yeah.
seconds. Come on, it's a close game."
Yeah.
And she said, "Nope." As soon as we went to the locker room, the thing just swelled up.
Ooh.
And so
So
that
the
was
adrenaline was like pushing you, huh?
yeah, so that was absolutely. I thought I could finish that game because
Yeah.
with an ACL tear, it hurts for
Yeah.
it's you're in pain for a good 5 to 10 seconds, and
Mhm.
it kind of just goes away. I was actually able to walk off the court.
Really?
A lot of people, they're in pain and they have that pain and they're just like, man, I can't walk
Yeah.
and everything. And some tears are a lot worse. Sometimes you tear other ligaments.
Yeah.
After that tear, I always felt like I was a tough kid.
Yeah.
My dad, taught me to suck things up.
Oh, yeah, I know your dad.
And yeah, one of the nicest guys. He
Yeah,
wears a
he
smile,
is.
but to his kids, it's
Oh.
the exact opposite.
He's a gentle giant
Yeah.
to me.
Oh,
Super
man.
kind, but I feel like I don't want to mess with this guy. You ever seen like
Oh,
Samoans? I don't know
man.
what that,
Oh,
like, the big
I love
Samoans.
it.
You're like,
Yes.
you're like, dude, they're so nice, but you're like, I'm so scared of this dude still. Like,
Don't get on
regardless,
the wrong side
that's
of
the
it.
same as your dad, man.
Yeah, so we'll be in the car and he'll lecture me for about an hour. Walk out of the car. Hey, brother, how's
I
it
know.
going?
That's
Oh
so
my
your dad.
So he was my biggest teacher
Yeah.
in life, and he was a successful bodybuilder, and he didn't really know basketball, but he knew what it took, and he studied the game
Yeah.
with me.
Right.
So he would go to different camps, he would do research, and he helped me a lot with my
Yeah.
basketball career. But besides all the skill stuff and rebounding for me, he just taught me just to sort of just man up, and I loved contact. Now I'm a little more finesse. I don't like contact as much.
Yeah.
Trying to save the joints. But when I felt that pain, I just leaned up against the wall pad there on the baseline, and then the trainers started coming over to me, and I knew I tore an ACL. But it was just pride. I just walked off.
Yeah.
I walked off by myself, and they were just helping me, and I said, I want to finish this last 40 seconds.
Yeah.
They said, and sure enough, after that thing swelled up, I was like, okay, the trainers were right.
Yeah.
It was a 4-month process.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I was working on my handles.
Yeah.
So now I do a lot of drills, and I post online, and they get good traction. I have an app where I display a lot of dribbling drills and different moves.
Right.
Partly because I spent that 9 months looking at other areas that I can improve in.
Mm-hmm.
When I was sitting in a chair, or whether I was just standing in place, I could dribble 2 basketballs still.
Yeah.
And so that really helped. I didn't know that later on it eventually helped me, 12, 13 years later.
Yeah.
During that 9-month process, I was able to figure out other things, do other things other than running around, use my mind more, watch more film. As soon as that period ended, I was cleared to play 4 weeks later, before the season even started. During a practice, I black out and wake up in a hospital.
Ooh.
They had told me I suffered a cardiac arrest, and I couldn't really remember a lot of things going on in the hospital. Apparently, I would look directly at one of my family members, but my pupils were dilated. I was blind for several hours, and everything I said, I just kept on repeating and repeating. One of the doctors had mentioned to me, because they couldn't figure out what the cause was, we're going to have to put a defibrillator in you. And when you have this defibrillator, you're not going to be able to play contact sports again, which means the game that I poured so much into, despite not just the ACL, but other injuries. One summer I was in a cast.
Yeah.
I was teammates with Damian Lillard at a basketball camp.
Wow.
And we got invited from there. It was a trial camp. It was a Reebok tryout camp in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Based on how well you did, they will sponsor you and send you to other camps for free.
Yeah.
We were teammates at the time, and this guy was good. This guy was good, but he wasn't hyped. In college, he was good. He wasn't hyped.
Yeah.
And led the league led the country in scoring at Weber State, and he wasn't hyped.
Yeah.
And
there are seasons he's not hyped either. I was kidding.
Now top 75 player of all time.
For sure.
But we were teammates at that one tryout camp, and I was not able to play in the camp they sent us to from there because my ankle was in a cast.
So you did good in that camp.
I did good in that camp. Yeah.
Crazy.
And so just a couple summers were taken away from me.
Yeah.
And for a basketball player, that off season is huge. With the AAU circuit, you get your name out there.
Yeah.
And now it's year round. It's AAU's bigger than it's ever been.
Yeah.
They have multiple sponsored circuits. Adidas. You have your Nikes. Now you have your Under Armours.
For sure.
Whatnot. And I missed out a lot on those opportunities due to injuries, and just to have this cardiac arrest top it off, that was the big one. It was one thing to recover from injuries. You go through your rehab process. But when colleges heard that I had a cardiac arrest, that was a cause for concern. And they pretty much scratched my name off the list. I was getting looks from junior colleges. All the local junior colleges would show up to my game. But I really wanted that D1 look. And so what I ended up kind of turning down the local junior colleges, and at a youth conference one summer, decided to go to Bible college. And so I spent already spent a couple $100 for registration at San Jose State. I was just going to go, and I was accepted into the civil engineering department. Already had registered. I was a student ready to go. Decided last minute just go to Bible college, just kind of give it just 1 year. Yeah. And that turned into 3 years. Yeah. And so what would have been my college years playing college basketball. Yeah. I was, studying ministry work, which, in essence, it helped me in a lot of areas. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I was getting recruited to play in the Philippines overseas. That didn't work. So leading up to this point, a lot of hopes and dreams. Yeah. Just sort of, failed. Mm-hmm. A lot of more hopes and dreams. Just took a left turn here, and if it weren't for those, I wouldn't be in this spot where I am today. I'm not successful, but I know I found my niche, and I love where I'm going. Yeah. If I would have gone that route, I feel like I would have gotten burnt out with a game that I loved. And this route that I'm on right now, it's so fun.
I look back at those years. So when did you have the cardiac arrest? Like what grade were you?
It was my junior. So
junior year.
It was 2018.
Okay.
It was 2008.
Okay. So junior year. I remember watching you, and I guess walk me through what was going through your mind, because for me, and you may not realize this, but every time you would go to the gym, there was always one person watching you, sitting by your dad, and that was actually me. I don't know if you remember that. I always talk to Brother Lyle. I always talk to your dad just to like see what's going on. And like, to be honest with you, I know there were haters at that time. I really did. But for me, it was inspiring because I know for a fact that he told me everything. You know, your dad told me everything was about what you're going through. And for me, to walk me through what was going through your mind, because you had that heart problem. You had a defibrillator. And I remember there was one time you were shooting, you were doing all these drills, and you couldn't even raise your left hand. Is that correct?
Yes.
You couldn't raise your hand over a specific area or something like that. And for me, I'm like, what was going through your mind? Like, were you practicing thinking, man, should I even do this? Or like, did that never cross your mind?
So you mentioned you were right there, right by my dad. I didn't notice.
No, you're good. I would just walk in, walk out. I was just being honest. You were so zoned in, dude. I'm not even offended at all. It's just that was the year that, fun fact, my freshman year in college, I didn't have a green card, so I couldn't work. So I would just like, dude, what do I do? And then I heard like you're practicing. I'm like, yo, let me watch this guy play. Like it was, you know, I was just bored. I didn't know where to go. And then your dad was cool. You always talk to me. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go chill here for a minute. And then like, you know, and then part of me too, freshman year, I was still kind of like, I was all right in basketball. Part of me was like, you know, let me see if I can play this guy 1-on-1. But I'm like, nah, I'm good.
That's funny you say that because I didn't see you because I was locked in despite everything going on.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I knew where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before it was the route of NBA.
Yeah.
And every kid wants to go to
For
the NBA.
sure.
There's kids who come in who are not very good, and when I talk to them, they say, "I want to make it to the league."
Mm-hmm.
And they're dead serious.
Yeah.
And I'm asking myself, I'm thinking, are you serious?
Yeah.
But they're serious. It couldn't be.
Everybody wants the NBA.
No matter what level, everyone wants to play in the NBA, and you have to be realistic. Around that time, I was a little more realistic.
Yeah.
I thought, I could play in the Philippines.
Yeah.
As an overseas, as an American.
Yeah.
Despite having Filipino blood.
Mestiza, they love that. Just kidding. In the Philippines, you could be an actor too, you know?
That was exactly it. They said with the ads.
Yeah, no.
I was like, I'll just take on these ads.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe play a movie role.
Yeah.
I'll just stay away from like the hardcore liquor ads, and I'll just go in there and just do my thing.
By the way, he could play the violin and sing. So, hey, Philippines, if y'all still want somebody right here.
Oh man. And so during this change of scene, so around that time, so after they put the defibrillator in me, a year later, I guess one of the screws broke. I was warming up on the bench press, and I thought the weight just fell on my chest. I racked it. Wait, the weight is right here. What was? Oh man, my thing must have went off.
Dang.
And so it went off on me 3 times in 1 week. Went in, and they had to go in and go back in there and replace it. This was a year after they just put it in, and so I had to sit out for about 4 weeks or so. And when I finally was able to lift it back up, it was an easy recovery.
Yeah.
After 4 weeks, I was finally able to raise it up.
Yeah.
The coach of the school had asked me, the church school had asked me, Brother Thompson, to play for them during the fine arts. And that's the time frame you're talking about, because I would go into the gym to practice, but I couldn't lift it up because they just went back in there. And I had like essentially 2 scars on top of each other. So I was just doing a lot of one-hand stuff. The day I was able to lift it again, he comes in, hey, you want to play for us? And so that's when I was able to revisit, and that's when I was hanging around the college a lot, you guys and whatnot. And you guys were fun to hang around. You guys were fun. Not gonna lie, I could hear what you guys are saying, but I never look or anything. I could hear it, but then I'm focused.
Yeah.
But not gonna lie, I was
Dude,
laughing inside. I was having a good time.
Me and Jeff Harrell were the commentators for those games, your games. We were trying so hard to get your attention so many times.
Yeah,
like,
I heard you. I heard you. I did.
Come, say hi.
I actually
to us.
heard you, but I was just like, oh no, I'm locked in. I'm
Yeah.
Nowadays, looking back at it, I'm like, I should have lightened up. I should have said what's up. You know, nothing's serious.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
if I get crossed up, hey man, good move. Man.
Yeah.
Before someone crossed me up, oh man, I'm giving them right back.
I think it's because
You know,
with age, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
You're
but I
just
heard
like-
you guys. I was having a time. I wanted to look, but I was like, nah.
Yeah. No, man, I'm zoned in, you know?
Yeah.
Scouts might be here, you know what I'm saying? Let me ask you this. I know personally, and this is different. My injury is not his injury. It's the injury of eating too much. And that's why I don't play as well on the court anymore. But I'm pretty sure I deal with this frustration when I play ball. I'm like, you know, I'm a lot heavier than before. I'm like, I cross up. I'm like, ooh, good crossover. I look up and I'm trying to go for the layup. I'm like a lot farther from the rim than I wanted. And I'm like, what the ghetto? but I know for a fact that there are times when I play ball now that I'm like, dude, I know I could destroy this kid right now, but my body won't let me. Was there that frustration after the surgery and all that stuff that you're like, dude, like I know I could be killing this team right now. My body won't let me. Was there a period of that?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And I was gonna say, bro, you just gotta start becoming a shooter.
Yeah. Oh.
You know, just
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
bounce, just self drive and shoot.
Yeah.
You know, you never have to drive. Just have
shoot.
the threat of it every time.
Yeah.
But my steps were a little slower.
Yeah.
Just because missing nearly 2 years of basketball.
Yeah.
And so it took a while just to get my step back.
Was it frustrating?
It definitely was.
Yeah.
So when I was recovering when I was waiting to get cleared from the cardiac arrest, I had broken out. If you looked at me straight on, you couldn't tell, but my whole sides, just all my cheeks and the sides of my foreheads, I still have scars there to
Really?
this day. Like just indentions of just all these pimples. And I was just under just so much stress because I was trying to be patient.
Yeah.
And with the cardiac arrest, there was no specific timeline.
Yeah.
So with an ACL, they'll clear you, the hospital or your physical therapist will clear you around 6 months.
Yeah.
The school trainer cleared me up at 9 months, but I knew that coming in. And with a cardiac arrest, you know, you're just visiting different doctors, having these conversations.
Yeah.
Can I play? And they're saying, no, you can't. We're trying to figure out a solution.
Yeah.
My dad made a fiberglass protector.
Yeah.
And he attached it and we stitched it to a shirt so that way it would protect the device. And we were just gonna rock with that.
Yeah.
And so finally we found someone in San Francisco, a UCSF doctor,
Yeah.
who finally cleared us.
Yeah.
With our regular physician, he wasn't budging. We weren't, getting anywhere at all. We decided to go somewhere else. Finally got cleared, and so that really, helped out a lot. And finally could see some light. But at the time, just under stress, just because there was no time frame, you just don't know. I thought I'm just gonna go run track.
Yeah.
Would you say, because this is the failed podcast, would you say that was, I guess, I wouldn't say failure, but probably the lowest point in your life? Would you say that was it?
In some ways, it can be seen as failure because you have expectations versus reality.
Yeah.
And when you fall short of your expectation by a mile, it feels like failure.
And it's amazing to me you say that, because it's not like it's you're doing a failure. It's not like you did the failure. You know what I mean? Life kind of just happened. And I think if we're not careful, two things happen. Some people, there's the self-inflicted failure. Of course, they don't want to it's hard to get up from that. Many people go through that. But there's also infliction of failure from surroundings. And now they're just stuck there because they kind of use that as a crutch or as an excuse, really. People use that as an excuse. Oh, life failed me. Well, but that's not an excuse to continue failing. What is your message to those that when life hits you with something so severe like this and you feel like a failure? What are your tips for people, or mainly young people, young adults that go through that?
At the time, just going through a couple years of just nonstop, just injury, incident, closed doors, I didn't think about doing something else.
Yeah.
I kept pushing for it up until when literally there was, I kept pushing until another door opened.
Right.
Yeah, never thought about quitting. Never thought about stop working out. I still hardly took days off.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and even when I was at the Bible college, I would still go into the gym, get shots up, get my workout in, go and lift. I tried to work a part-time job. That way I had time to train.
Yeah.
I just never looked back, and quit wasn't in my vocabulary or in my thought process at all. We were going to keep going. Yeah. And the only time I decided to, I'm not going to say quit, but go a different route, was when another door had opened.
Right.
At the time, that other door was a full-time job. With a full-time job, it was a city position, so you have nice benefits, a good retirement. Mm-hmm. I looked at it and thought, I'd be making more here than playing professionally overseas.
Right.
To play professionally overseas, I would have to go through a certain route, the development league, and then hopefully get drafted.
Right.
And then in your first year there, they don't pay you that much just yet. So it would take a couple of years. But right off the bat, I thought, look, I have job security with this position.
Yeah.
And maybe it's time to really start thinking about my professional career in terms of just being able to provide, save up, the next phase of life.
Yeah.
And so that's when my mindset had switched. I had to shut down the professional ambitions as a basketball player and went the professional route as far as being a career person.
Yeah. And
did that for close to 8 years.
When did it hit you to finally say, you know what, I'm gonna chase my dream? I'm unlocking my phone because I have questions here.
Good.
But when did it finally hit you? You said, you know what, man, I'm gonna chase my dream. And you said, another door opened, but now I guess in a way that door in basketball opened again. When did that happen, or what was your thought process? And what happened? How did you get back to it?
This whole time, basketball was always there.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting invited to playing leagues. I was asked to train someone's kid.
Yeah.
This whole time, and I would join leagues here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the leagues I played in, they actually had some former college players in it. Some of them were really competitive. I would lead the leagues in scoring. Although they're adult leagues, they had guys that can play in it. So I still had it, but I was content just to work day job, job security. So I was comfortable. And so for a couple of years, I was comfortable. We started a side job with my dad, flipping homes, working construction. And it was extra income. It was cash. And I thought, wow, this is cool. Never thought about having a side job. Always thought about having hobbies and really wanted to do more things on the side. Mm-hmm. When I would get off work, I would either, if I didn't go to 24-Hour Fitness to play, I would take one of my siblings. We would go out and just adventure, try a new food spot out, catch a show, whatnot, go to some entertainment venue and just kind of explore a little bit. So I wanted to enjoy that side of things because for years and years, I was just locked in. Yeah. Life was great, but I wasn't experiencing much of it. Yeah. And so for a few years, I just wanted to just kind of enjoy, catch up. Yeah. It felt like, and just start to explore. I missed out a lot of things, especially in the summer, just because I had my head down and was go, go, go. Yeah. Now, making an income, wow, we could pretty much
do stuff, other things.
Had some freedom, so it was nice. when we did that side job,
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? There's still a lot of time left in the day when you get off of work. So I went to look into just side jobs.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I have a niche for graphic design.
Yeah.
Maybe have a niche for reselling.
Yeah.
I actually bought a car, and at the Honda dealer, picked out the showroom car. It was a Honda Fit. Now it was Volt yellow with a black roof, custom rims, and I was gonna put that up on Turo, which is essentially the Airbnb of cars. And I wanted to start my own little line of cars. Maybe have a small fleet. I don't know if I wanted to grow from there, but just see how it went.
Yeah.
And that was my first venture into having my own side gig.
Yeah.
As soon as I took that car home, my sister was telling me how, oh wow, that's a nice car. I need a new car. So I made the payments, and she just paid me back.
Oh my goodness.
So that was her car. So there went that ambition. Decided to go a different route, and just started to look into some things. I picked up the guitar.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll make some YouTube covers.
Yeah.
I'm not the greatest singer. I just enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
And so I started.
If you want to see more YouTube covers by Ike and V-Ball, comment down below. I'm down. I want to see it.
Oh man! So picked up the guitar, learned some of the basic chords.
Yeah.
Could never get the finger style down. I'm more of a strummer.
Yeah.
So I got the basic chords down. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was fun. I wish I had more time in a day, because I would definitely devote it to doing guitar stuff.
Yeah.
And so once I started figuring out that I wanted to do a side gig, started watching entrepreneur videos.
Yeah.
And that's really what did it for me.
Yeah.
Watching the entrepreneur stuff, finding different ways to, get passive income.
Yeah. Big one.
You have your 9 to 5, which fuels your investments, and then what you do after your 9 to 5, that's when your day really starts. Just, watching all this stuff, and I really wanted to do something more. So I decided, you know what, I have a niche for this basketball thing. I've been putting off for years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop making excuses, because I want a side gig now.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been about 3 years entertaining the idea. I just got to do it. Just drop all excuses. I think I might have a niche for this. So I started watching a bunch of videos on Instagram. Other trainers, big name trainers doing their thing. I thought I could literally do that same thing.
Yeah.
Literally started doing that same thing. But I didn't post anything, put it up yet, just made little videos on my own. I'm like, man, this doesn't look too bad.
Yeah.
I told my folks, I'm gonna tear down these all these fruit trees, all 17 fruit trees.
Oh, man.
We're gonna put a basketball court in there. That weekend, chopped all the trees down, and then started digging away.
I love that your parents were, was there a pushback or no? They were all for it.
They didn't have to clean up the fruits
that
that fell on the floor anymore. You go.
Oh, they were fine with that.
You go out into the backyard. There's rotten oranges.
Oh, okay.
It just no one's maintaining the trees.
So you solved the problem for them then.
Oh man, you'd have to rake it every once in a while, especially in the fall time. Every weekend, just out there raking.
Yeah.
Zero maintenance now.
I still remember that time too. It's so crazy that you say that, because I'll tell you this story. I have a similarity to that because of the fact that I've been trying to avoid. I feel like for years I'm a graphic designer and a web designer.
A good one too.
Oh man,
good one. We hired this guy.
Well, that's why it's interesting, because for the longest time I've been trying to avoid it. I just felt like I've always been there. I did a lot of side gigs. I still do I did side gigs, for churches here and there, and I just kind of avoided it for the longest time, and finally I said, you know what? And I tried other things. I literally tried other things, and I feel like that's such a weird excuse. You're so good at something, go for it. And I feel like you kind of went through that too. Kind of hit you that epiphany that, dude, I'm so good at basketball. Why not do my side gig in basketball? And for the longest time, I tried to avoid graphic design. I really did. I tried to do a clothing brand. I tried to bake. I did literally start a bakery. And then I even tried to I tried to do a jersey company. I don't know. I think I called you a couple months back about that. But finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go all in on the web design and graphic design. And of course, I'll do like the podcast and all this on the side. Like, I'm going to go all in to finally be serious about it. And the first person that called me was your brother. And I'm just like, wow. And you have no idea how much it's helped. I've had other, I've had a couple more now already. But like, man, I'm seriously grateful because I'm like, man, I'm going to go all in. Who's going to be my first client? Like, I have no idea who. You know what I mean? I literally didn't know. And then your brother called. And then I'm like, okay, yeah. And then I remember it worked out because, he was like, yeah, I need a brand. I need a logo for this camp. And I was just like, all right. And it worked out because I was sick. I had COVID. I told him I'll get it done Friday. I got it done in a day because I was sick. I didn't know where to go. I had nothing to do. I'm like, fine, I'll get it done. And he was like, dude, you're so fast. And I'm like,
turnaround was no joke.
and I've always been fast because like I did it for church. Like, it's crazy. The hardest client I've ever worked for was my dad. My dad's crazy. My dad would be like, literally, because in our church, he wants the graphics up, custom graphics, right? He'll give me the outline for his sermon. I don't even know his title. During the second song. He's about to preach. I'm like, there's like a song. There's, I'm lucky if we have a special. I'm like, there are times we don't even have a special. There's just offering, and then him now. So I'm over here like, I'm like just designing, and the next thing you know, like I hear like the piano starts playing, and then there's like a special. I'm like, oh, thank you. Like I got like 5 extra minutes,
Please repeat the chorus.
Yeah, go ahead, come on, somebody get convicted or something. Like keep singing. I was like, please. And then I get it done, and I'm like, I'm glad I was able to be trained for that because I didn't know what life was gonna, take me. So it's crazy and it's exciting for you to say that because, like I said, there's young people that have asked me. I've had this question in my class before, and they said, if you're a talented person, and they're not trying to be cocky, but what do we go for? And they literally go, what do we do? Like, the problem with this is, it's not like we don't want to go for it. It's just, we don't know which one to choose. And I feel like that kind of helps answer that, because I told them, go for the thing you're most skilled at and something you love. And I feel like you kind of reiterated that by finally deciding, I'm gonna go do basketball. So that's really exciting, man. And let me ask you, got a couple of questions here. Well, somebody asked what motivated you to become a trainer. So that's John Nar in Instagram said, what motivated you to become a trainer? So I know you finally decided basketball, but I think you talked about that, the entrepreneurship what motivated you to go, you know what? I actually want to train kids. I want to do that, like more specific.
Well, in high school, I was helping kids.
Yeah.
My dad would work out a couple kids from the church, and I would always be there pretty much demonstrating it.
Yeah.
He would tell us what we're doing, and I would demonstrate it.
Seen that, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And then I got paid $5 to train an 8th grader. And I was like, man, $5? This was easy money.
Because it was basketball. It's not like it was work.
Yeah, and so I was doing it in high school.
Yeah.
And just over time, I would always have a parent just asking me to work with their kid.
Yeah.
And it's literally just been something I put off for years.
Mm-hmm.
I revisited it because I was looking for that side gig.
Yeah.
But then when I started watching other trainers, I knew I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throughout my basketball career, I was always watching training videos.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was my Netflix.
But did it hit you that, wait, I could be the trainer?
No, because and I wanted to play.
Yeah.
So, but I was in love with these videos.
Yeah.
I remember these videos would be $40 a pop, but we'd go and buy it. I'd buy the whole set, the ball handling, the shooting, the defense.
I remember those. I remember those.
Yeah.
And it was back in the day. Y'all don't understand if you're young. You just got YouTube. We had to buy this stuff, bro.
Oh,
VHS, DVD.
Nothing came free.
Bro,
Nothing.
Better Basketball. Oh, man.
Bought the whole set, Better Basketball.
Dude, man, it's funny you say that because I'm like, some of these kids are so lucky. Dude, back in the day, we would be like, when we would get a Better Basketball, we'd be like, yo, I've never thought about that. Like, that's crazy. Like a drill, like, Yo, I never thought about. Yeah, that is a cool. It does help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta pay, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And so that just it was always there in the back burner.
Yeah.
And there came that point where I needed to do something now.
Yeah.
And I just like had to pick something. And then as soon as I started watching these videos of other guys, like, wait, I've never heard of this guy before, but he's blowing up. I could literally be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And so, sure enough, literally just started doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And it started kicking in. I was like, wow.
That's crazy.
Basketball is one thing, but to teach it is an entirely another thing.
True.
But because I watched so many training videos, I knew there was detail, like within the game. And I always had a knack for details. My dad has even a bigger knack for details.
Yeah.
He works for the city. We were actually like coworkers. He helped get me in, and he could spot something if a contractor doesn't have the ground leveled. He could see it. He's one of the best inspectors. Yeah. Working, alongside, with engineers and getting to know other contractors and whatnot. My dad has an eye. He could see those things. I kind of inherited that when it comes to the details, so I can see the details and help someone out with their footwork. And it kind of comes from him. So I knew I had to take that detail aspect and not just being able to do something, but know exactly what you're doing step by step.
For sure.
And I just had to tie that in together. My sister is a teacher. I knew I had to somehow bring a teacher out of me. I never really wanted to be a teacher, never saw myself as one, but I knew I had to pull that element out and learn that aspect.
To be able to relay the message.
Because when I saw what other trainers were doing, and I thought I could do the same thing, just immediately clicked. And that's what really got me to really want to become a trainer. Yeah.
What were some things that you did to overcome some trials that you went through? Like maybe whether it be mentally or something physical to kind of help people out. And I guess we're kind of going back a little bit, but with those trials, this was a question somebody asked, but what were some things you did to overcome those trials?
Look at the big picture. If I looked at the now, and if I looked down at my knee and the stitches, if I looked down at my chest and the scars, I would have been really discouraged. And obviously I did. I had to check up on, the wounds and whatnot and change the bandages. But if I just sit there and stare at it, I'm not going to be going anywhere. I have rehab to do. I got to stretch out that knee. Then pretty soon I have to start exercising it, strengthen the muscles. If I just stare at it, just discouraged, looking at this big old scar in the front of my knee, they just took a piece of my patella tendon out. And then now I'm going to have probably tendonitis from it. If I just sat there and looked at the now, you're not going to get anywhere. So when you step back and you look at that big picture, like, look, this is just going to be for 9 months. 9 months, you're going to be able to recover. As long as you work hard, you're going to be able to get back on track. So what, you're a little bit delayed, but when you look at the big picture, you have a good 15 years of tread in your legs where you can play this game. So what's 1, maybe 2 years? You're going to have 13 years left. Exactly. So just when you look at that bigger picture, that's what really helped encourage me.
And I think that's with young people and young, this is what this podcast is aimed towards, more for young people and young adults. I feel like the failures they go through, like, I don't want to belittle it, but like, they're like, oh man, I broke up with my girl or something like that, and they're so down. And I get it, like, it sucks. But like at the bigger picture, man, like, did you really think you're gonna marry this girl? You know what I mean? Like when you're 13, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like, but that's what I'm saying. It is good that you talk about the big picture, because it's like, bro, you were 13 years old. Like, bro, you're not marrying this girl, okay? And by the way, I mean, right? But you know what I mean? Like, it's the small pictures, or even like failing a grade or failing a class. It's like, man, when you look at the grand scale of life, it's okay, man. Like, you'll be fine. Don't dwell on it. Don't be stuck on it. And I'm glad you talked about that. I have a couple questions here, and we'll talk about these questions. Some of them, these are just questions that I put out there on the poll. See if anyone has any questions. By the way, forgot. I didn't start the podcast with this, but I'm gonna say it right now. We're both wearing Adidas Yeezys sneaker. I'm wearing the Yeezy Zebras. He's wearing the Yeezy. I forgot which one is this one.
My lady got it for me.
Okay.
So
we both wearing Yeezys.
This is my first pair. This is my first pair.
For real?
Yes.
What?
Yes. I know I've been rocking Adidas for a long time. Still do.
Yeah.
My first pair of Yeezys, man.
See, I knew that. I was like, yo, he's an Adidas man. I gotta rock Adidas, you know? It's funny. I interviewed Josh Nolan last night, and I was wearing Kobe 6s, and he was like, oh, I'm wearing work boots. Like, I'm just like, I know you may not care, but I've been doing this every episode so far. So, hey, I'm wearing the Kobe 6s.
Yes,
He's just like, but anyways, question here by Sir Jack Boomotad. Who's the worst person you've ever trained? No need to disclose the name. Was it? Next question. Maybe just
John Darby. I love you, man.
What?
I picked up John Darby for my intramural basketball team, and we won 2 championships together.
Really?
He wanted some lessons.
Yeah.
And he's a cricket guy.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this, in the time we worked together, I'm pretty sure if he ever sees it, he doesn't mind me saying it, but it doesn't matter where you're at. The fact that you want to get better at something, that shows a lot.
That
shows a lot.
I love that message,
and so,
man.
Yeah.
You know, I think of like Pascal Siakam when he was in the NBA. I mean, he wasn't really highly sought out, but I mean, he became an NBA champion, you know?
Yeah. I'm actually working with a kid right now. He's a freshman in high school, 6'3". He has some length. Literally had to start from scratch. He came with pretty much zero experience. He's a freshman in high school.
Dude.
And been working with him for the past couple months. For the first couple weeks, it was just, we hardly didn't even move. It was just looking at how to shoot. He could barely dribble.
Just form shooting, huh?
Man, form shooting and just stationary dribbling. Didn't even, I don't remember going up and down until maybe the second month. And so yesterday we were just looking at a little more, I'm going to say advanced crossover because there's a lot of details in it.
Right.
And off that crossover, he got into a swing set finish. So it's not like a Euro step. Right. It's a lot of people get confused with a Euro step. They're so used to doing a Euro step. This footwork is a little tricky. Yeah. Your first step is across your defender. And that could throw people off because they want to go into the Euro step. When instead, your first step has to be across your defender. And we spent some time doing it. And I'm like, wow. I just kept going, wow. Do you remember where we started? Yeah. And it's just, it's awesome to see. I love that you said that because I coach girls basketball now. I don't coach the guys basketball anymore. Funny story is it's not funny, but pretty much Jerry, I gave the team to Jerry and I'm like, I'm done coaching. I've retired. And then 2 years later, I realized in our school, he's coaching both the girls and the guys. And I know how hard that is to coach 2 teams. So I'm back at coaching, but I'm coaching a girls team. But I love that you said that because so many people, and I'm pretty sure you know this, is they just want to they're like, really? We're going to do the same drill or the same, like form shooting for a month? Like, when am I going to get to the fun stuff? But really, that's so important. It's so important to just like, dude, we got to work on your form. The reason why we're still on the form shooting is your form is off. You know what I mean? You're shooting with your arms. You ain't shooting with your legs or whatever, Just like Danielson. Like, Mr. Miyagi, why am I waxing the floor? Why am I paying the stupid fence? Yeah. Shout out to Karate Kid. Yeah. Season, what is it? Cobra Kai season 6 coming out? Is it? Yeah. Man, last I checked it was on season 4. Man, yeah, dude. They're moving. Yeah, dude, that show is so amazing to me because they literally got the original cast. I'm like, yo, this deserves an award for something. I don't know what it is, but like, yeah, how you find all these people in all walks of life, like, still find them. I was like, what the? Anyways, we'll segue to the next question here. No, speaking of, You look at a guy, he took a kid in. The kid wanted to learn karate. He's like, I saw what you did.
Yeah.
I saw how you protect yourself. I want to learn karate. I'm getting picked on at school.
Yeah.
And when someone just wants to learn something,
Yeah.
You right away, you know that, you know, they have some humility.
Mm-hmm.
And so the people that come to me, they're coming in with humility.
Mm-hmm.
Someone with an ego
Yeah.
is not going to come to me because they know what to
They
do.
think they know they're better than you and all that
so
stuff.
I'm fortunate to the people that I get, or they want to learn. And so I'm actually really privileged to be in that kind of situation.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: as far as the people you've trained, do you prefer? I don't know if it's better. Maybe you could tell me if it is better to have, or maybe it's just preference. But do you think that, I guess, a hard work, humble attitude outweighs a talented, privileged attitude?
Absolutely. With my line of work, someone that comes in with an ego doesn't expect to pay for my service.
Yeah.
I'm giving them value and time, and they expect to just be handed that for free. A lot do. And the ones that respect my time and are willing to, pay for a service, I'm all in. Yeah. I'm all in.
And do you see that they're actually sometimes getting to the point that their growth is faster than the ones with the ego?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Because guys with an ego, they got it down. Yeah. They don't need help. They're good. Yeah. They're good. The guys that know they need some work will spend some time and put in the extra work, and it'll show. Yeah. It shows.
But I think with the hard work, eventually it gets to the point where they develop hard work, sometimes better than the ego people or the talented people. And then next thing you know, it gets to the point that they are somewhat better. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen that. I just feel like with B, I said this to one of my podcasts before, why I consider myself a failure. But then, of course, I talk later on about success. I mean, mentally, I feel like success is different. But I talked about how, like, I was talented, and I feel like sometimes I was kind of like what you're talking about, but on the other side, not on basketball, but in other things, I was more of the ego talent person. But because of that, there are so many people with time, the people that were my peers who were more hungry, hardworking, now they're better than me in things that I was more talented in. And I don't know, let this be a lesson, kids. Hard work outweighs talent. Oh, what was that? The Kevin Durant quote.
Hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even plan that. Sticky Kevin Durant, dude. Anyways, hey, good quote, but man, you gotta stop. Anyways, and your burner phone. So let's segue from this next question. What are some tips for someone who wants to play at a higher level but started late? Not necessarily NBA, but like maybe they want to play in the Philippines or something like that, but they started pretty late in life. What is your tips for that?
I take on adults. I started an adult group. Now with adults, it's tough to get them because sometimes they have to work overtime. It's a tricky group, but there are adults that I do work with, and some of them ask me, "Hey, do you have any beginner classes for adults?"
Wow. Really?
And so there are some adults who still want to learn. Yeah. And with them, no matter where you're at, you still have to, master the fundamentals, go through the basics.
For sure.
Right. And so just because they're older doesn't mean you give them something that's hard to chew on. Right. You have to ease them in. Right. Lay the proper groundwork out, because with an older player, there is a lot of habits. Yeah. And not just basketball, but just life. 25 years of moving a certain way. You've always kind of stepped awkwardly. You always had these like awkward movements. Yeah. Maybe you've always had some natural movements, but no matter what, there's always good in habits that form like within your body and the way you move around. And so we have to sort of scratch all that and create new habits. And so it's and when it comes to skill as well, no matter what, you have habits, whether they're good or bad habits. Now let's kind of scratch that and lay the groundwork. All right, here's the foundation. Here's where we start, and we build from there.
Yeah. What MK Our I 11 asks, how does your app work and what does it teach?
The app is...
So he doesn't have an app. You could go ahead and give a plug on that right now. Actually, we'll do a little early.
Right on. So the app is found in the link in my bio. I can Beeble on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
The app is something I've been waiting to jump on.
Mm-hmm.
I've always wanted to have to put something more in the hands of people really anywhere. So I upload free game, drills and workouts and tips, but I've wanted to put more, really put some sort of online academy right into people's hands where they could access anywhere. And obviously that's an app through the phone. There's a lot that's sitting right now on my phone that I'm getting ready to upload that. So there's a lot more to come.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been asking about certain things, and I cannot wait to just upload it.
Yeah.
Right now it's category based.
Yeah.
So you have ball handling, you have your shooting, you have elite guard skills, there's game reads. We're working on uploading a finishing portion, which we have been getting a lot of inquiries about. So a lot of categories, and within those categories, you click on a workout, and it will take you through a 20-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute workout. And you can really pick and choose what you want to go through. The next thing we're going to be working on is a 30-day challenge with the off-season coming up. The season's coming to a close. This is the perfect time to do some sort of reset. And I can't wait to launch that. And the app is it's been a blessing. I've always wanted to have some sort of residual, income, and really just give people more access, because you don't want to give out too much.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you want to. There's so much you want to give away.
Yeah.
And so that's the app has just been perfect. Still figuring out. We are going to be dedicating more time into it. Haven't really marketed it too much because there's a good amount of categories, but right now there's about 3 more, possibly 4 that we can go ahead and add, and then we're going to keep pushing it. But I'm excited to keep pushing.
I guess I'm going back a little bit here because I've learned this in my past podcasts. Sometimes a question pops into my mind and it's not till like after. So I'm like, I'm going to ask it already. Go ahead. But let me ask you this. Going back to when you went full-time as a trainer, or when you decided to become a trainer, did you go all in or did you quit? I mean, did you quit like your day job and go all in, or was there a transition period?
I was training on the side, so there was a nice transition period. Okay. But with COVID being up and down, you just don't know. There was there were busy times and there were slow times. Right. I went into it at a slow time, actually, but I knew I had enough, saved up to where if I fail within the next 6 months, I'll be okay. Yeah. I have some, saved away. Yeah. If all goes bad, but we just knew we had to go all in on it, and it was a weird time. My grandma had just passed away, so in the first month of going full time, grandma was not doing well. Man. We took time off to be with her for her last couple weeks, and so. Right off the bat, I'm already taking a couple weeks off. Yeah. And then you have, the services on top of that, which was like a week or 2 later. And so that's more time off right as soon as we go full time into it. And so it was a slow start because of that. And then just trying to figure out the software, because it is a business. It's fun creating content and all that stuff. But I'm blessed to have my brother who works with me. He takes care of a lot of the back end.
The business side, yeah.
And so I'm really fortunate. Yeah, he knows a lot about that area, and he's currently in school for it. So I get to enjoy and do my thing, and he does what he's studying for. And so it's awesome. We have our battles. Yeah. We have our battles. And there's been times when, I wasn't sure if I would have to start learning accounting or anything like
really?
that. Yeah, but he's key.
Yeah.
He's key in what we're able to do and push. So I'm grateful for him.
Yeah, I should be his nickname. Keith the Key.
Hey,
Keith the Key.
he is, because if I'm locked out of the account,
Yeah.
like, hey, I'll sign into something. Oh, it's Keith at iCanBeBall.com. Hey, Keith, this needs your login, man. So he literally is the key.
What was a moment that you were like, I guess it showed promise? Like, where was the moment? Was it probably a brand deal, or was it? I know you got to train with Julius Randle, and who was the trainer that you trained with when you were with Julius Randle?
Jordan Lawley.
J-Law B-Ball. Yeah. Which moment would you think as, like, I guess the part, I said this in my last couple of podcasts, hey, look, ma, I made it, I guess. Or if you've had that, like, which one were you like, okay, this is doing well? Like, which one was it?
It was when I got to train 2 Warriors players.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got to train with them just one-on-one.
Which Warriors players?
So Juan Toscano Anderson, I got to train him. I worked with him one time,
Mhm.
and he has his own trainer.
Yeah.
But he was in the area,
Yeah.
same area as I was in, and said, hey, we can get into this gym. And it was his first workout in the off season. He was just coming off an ankle injury.
Right.
I want to be really respectful because I know he has his own.
Yeah.
He has his own trainer, but we were in the kind of the same area.
Yeah.
So was able to work with him, and then worked out Jordan Poole a couple times.
That's crazy.
And so
This is a small world.
yeah, he it was not last season, but it was the off season before,
Mm-hmm.
it was in the off season when he texted back and said, or he texted me and said, I want to get back in the lab.
Yeah.
I want to work on some ball handling and finishing stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have a gym in SF, or do I have to come out to San Jose?
Yeah.
Well, I'll go out to him.
Yeah.
But in the middle of COVID, it was just so hard to find a gym.
Right.
I was making phone calls for about a month straight. I just
Yeah.
couldn't find anything unless I pay $100-something an hour for a gym, and I just couldn't find a spot. And so I was able to just reconnect. Maybe this off season we'll be able to get back in with him. But at the time, just being able to work him out, it just showed some promise.
Yeah.
Because he enjoyed it. I was able to show him a couple things, and the guy loves to work, and he's a sniper.
Yeah.
Just working him out, we did a 4-minute drill,
Yeah.
and we did this drill. It's one ball, and the shooter is getting up as many shots as they can. Shoot, relocate, make or miss.
Yeah.
He got 60 in 4 minutes.
Dang.
I asked the guy at Jordan Lawley's gym, I was like, hey, what's the record for the 4-minute drill? And he said, 55.
Dang.
I said, Jordan Poole just got 60.
Yo.
Yeah.
That's crazy. It's crazy you say that, because my second episode in the podcast, I interviewed one of my former players who is now an NBA barber. He is the NBA barber of Jordan Poole.
No way.
Not even joking. And you trained Jordan Poole. Yo, we got to get Jordan Poole here.
Yo.
Like, this is the next one. It just makes sense.
He probably lives down the street.
For real? Yo, we had his barber, his trainer. Yo, Jordan Poole, get over here. Big Pascal Siakam to you.
I was just texting his best friend just reached out to me. I guess he's offering like some tickets at a family discounted rate and whatnot. I have yet to go to a Warriors game at Chase Center.
Wait, seriously?
I have yet to go to.
Is it because of COVID?
Partly because of COVID, and with like the whole like restrictions and new restrictions and whatnot. I just decided to just kind of stay out of it.
Yeah, it does get annoying.
Yeah,
I know
so
what you mean.
just kind of I've been wanting to go.
Yeah.
And so we might be checking it out sometime soon.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
But that's right there.
That's a small world.
That's
well,
awesome.
I got 2 last questions here, and if you've listened to any of our podcasts, I guess you might expect this to come. But what is your definition of failure?
So you can fail
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over. Michael Jordan said, "I've failed over and over and over,"
Right.
which is why I have succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
You can fail as many times as you could possibly take it or
Mhm.
can't take it,
Yeah.
but that doesn't necessarily make you a failure.
Mm-hmm.
I think a failure is when you look at the now
Mm-hmm.
and the before, and that's where you continue to live. The exact opposite of that is being a success.
Yeah.
You look at someone who's successful and they just don't seem to stop.
Yeah.
When you look at today and look at yesterday, and in the good and the bad,
Yeah.
what's happened in your life, that's where you're going to continue to live.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I just never had any quit and want to stop, although there was just so much stress, and it would have been easy to just kind of let go and quit.
Yeah.
But the thought of where I wanted to be,
Yeah.
I feel like is success. I
Yeah.
by no means have arrived,
Mm-hmm.
but we all shoot for success.
Right.
And if we were just to sort of stop now and play the blame game
Yeah.
and like, woe is me,
Yeah.
I had this happen to me.
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore. My
Yeah.
friends have done that. Well, that's when you become a failure, right? But when you know where you're going, it's not about what you've done. It's about what you're doing. When you realize that, that's the path to success.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I've not arrived,
Yeah.
far from it, but I know where I want to go now.
Yeah.
And this picture was only painted recently,
Yeah.
like within the last couple of years. And it's cool to see, like, these last couple of years made so many connections, more than I almost want to say most of my whole life combined.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But it started off saying, I'm gonna train kids.
Yeah.
Let's go tear down the fruit trees
Yeah. That's
and
cool.
start a basketball court.
Yeah.
And that weekend
awesome.
we did it. So it took action,
Yeah.
and you have to sit down and learn, and then work hard and do all that. But in the meantime, at least you know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I like to tell kids, and I picked this up from a basketball camp, your perspiration, like your sweat equity, has to meet your expectations, or your perspiration has to meet your aspirations.
Mm-hmm.
So the kid that looked at me and said, I want to make it to the league. And I thought, are you serious?
Yeah.
I just told him, well, if this is where you want to go, that's how hard you have to work.
Yeah.
And so being a failure is not what anyone has in their bucket list. No one ever wants to become one,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so easy to become one.
Yeah.
You can fail, and this is the Failed Podcast.
Yeah.
Failure is part of life.
Yeah.
Years from now, you learn to embrace those.
Yeah.
We'll call them failures.
Mhm.
Being a failure is one thing. Failures are
Different.
quite, are quite different.
Yeah.
Years from now, you'll embrace failures, but the now is not the time to. Now is not the time to look down and look back.
Yeah.
Right. As
So-
long as we stay focused, look
Yeah.
ahead, man.
So I guess,
No telling.
in a way, and I love that you said that, because I feel like that hasn't been spoken here. We've said every time I ask this question, people say like quitting, and you've reiterated that, but I like what you said, whereas pretty much failures dwelling in the past, looking back, and looking now and not looking ahead, and that is something so many people battle with. I battle with that still. There are still nights that I'm like, dang, a lot of it, I think of, like, I'll tell you a story. There was a time that I almost bought Bitcoin, but I didn't. And I think about that all the time. You know how much Bitcoin was when I was about to buy it? $2. I was going to buy $200 worth of Bitcoin. For $2 each, that would have been 100 Bitcoin. I would have been $3 million right now.
But I'm saying it's just like, man, but it's, I mean, I know that's a little humorous, but I always look back at there are things that I'm like, man, I do have regret. And I think the failure is dwelling in that past. You're right. It's about moving forward and not quitting and just pressing, keep going forward. And I guess, I mean, you've already touched on this, but definition of success. So what is your definition of failure? What is your definition of success? I guess we'll just reiterate that because you already kind of answered it. But what is your definition of success?
Being able to do something you love that benefits others. Being in a baller mansion.
Yeah.
Having, buying anything, money could afford.
Right.
To some people is success. And that's their definition. I think my definition is being able to do what you love and help other people while you're at it.
Yeah.
Now, in the meantime, not putting your family at risk.
Yeah.
But, as long as you're happy and do what you love.
Yeah.
And helping others in the meantime. That has definitely been my new definition of success within these last couple of years. Before it was getting somewhere. I think now success would have to be being like something.
Yeah.
I still preach, make a goal. Like we've often heard said, aim for the moon. If you only hit the street, like goals are important, and we want to get somewhere.
Yeah.
But oftentimes you see a lot of people get there.
Yeah.
And then once they get there, they've experienced it all.
Yeah.
It's rapid downhill from there. And so if you're able to, and a lot of times it's all about me. What can I get? What can I get? The people who are happiest are the people who give.
Yeah. I'm
not right now necessarily killing it. I don't have a baller bank account, but I find joy in giving, and we learn about it. We learn about it in church.
Yeah.
But it's so true. Giving doesn't necessarily have to be about money.
Yeah.
It could be about time. Like you taking the time to come meet me here in the city.
Oh, dude.
Man, that I feel blessed. That has done a lot for me. You gave your time and your time of travel. Man, it's no matter what happens with this with this podcast, where it goes, man, I hope it takes off.
Yeah.
Man, you're blessed, and you're giving your time, and I find enjoyment in this. Yeah. And so everyone's success is going to be different.
And I love that you said that because, for me, and I've said this, I want this podcast to take off because of the fact that I want to help people. Like, sure, the money. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I want the money, but I want the money so that it could provide for us, so I don't have to do other things. I just want that. I want to help people. I love helping people, and then that's the first time I've heard someone say that success is helping people, and I love that. I really do.
I actually, this is kind of like a guilty pleasure, but I've been watching Mr. Beast videos. And he's killing it, like the biggest YouTuber right now.
Oh, for sure.
But when he's asked how much he makes millions on each video, but pours it back into the next video. He does. Because you look at, he's renting SoFi Stadium, giving out millions. Yeah. And how is he able to afford all this? Anything that comes in, they just give it right back. And he always says, our margins are razor thin. Yeah. I'm like, dude, this guy's the most successful guy on that platform. And he's just giving back. And people love him. Yeah. So
I think people realize how real he is. Because I remember his first video, he talked about that. He said that his first brand deal. He said, if you gave me $1,000, I'll give it. Or 10,000. If you gave me $10,000 for this brand deal, this video, I will give all 10,000. They're like, okay, seriously? Like they thought he was joking. He was for real. He did give away $10,000, and he only made $10,000 in that video. But I think people see through that. People see through the fact that, like, when he gives money now, it's not fake. Like, he actually legitimately likes doing it. It wasn't just for content. But thankfully, people love watching him give, and it just blew up. And then now, I mean, he's
he legit gives though. Because someone, there's a creator who was in some creator contest.
Yeah. He
won $100,000. He
Yeah.
was like, oh, well, let's see if this $100,000 actually comes in.
Yeah.
And he waited, had to go through some taxes and like IRS stuff, whatever. And then, boom,
No,
$100,000 came in.
Yeah, and what's cool about that, he actually pays for the taxes too. You know that? That's crazy. So when he gives a car, he pays for the taxes. Because you know, like if you go to like the Price is Right, if you win a vacation, you have to pay for the taxes, and most people end up actually not doing the vacation or keeping the car because they can't pay for the taxes. So they just end up selling the car, pay for the taxes, and keep whatever money is left over. So if it's a $20,000 car, whatever taxes they're gonna give, they're just gonna keep the money of that, which is still cool. Not belittling it.
Yeah.
But I guess respect to Mr. Beast, because not only will he give you the car, he will pay for the taxes of that, which is crazy. So if he gives you like something that's worth $1 million, he'll pay for the taxes of that. Which I'm like, that's huge, man. Like, so respect to Mr. Beast, man. Mr. Beast, come to the podcast. Anyways, go ahead and give a plug. What you got going on in your life? Want to give a plug for your app, Instagram, socials? Go ahead.
Right on. So we're on Instagram and TikTok at ICanBball. We have an app, and we're looking to do a summer full of events. If you play basketball, if you're in the Bay Area or even in Southern California, we're going to be making a couple stops over there this summer. We hope you could stop by, check us out. We're definitely going to be doing some work with this guy. Anything that you see visually when it comes to logos, he's actually making a camp website for us. This guy is the plug for it. He's been a huge help within our marketing side of things. And I want to thank James Abrat for doing that for us and for having me on the podcast today.
Thank you so much for my guest being here today. And please give him a follow. Please give me a follow as well on Twitter, James_Abrat1030. Follow me on Instagram, James Abrat. And go ahead and like and subscribe this video. And if you know anyone, please, if you know anyone that you know could be a help, maybe you're listening to it and say, you know what, I'm not really... I guess I don't need this right now, but I know somebody that can be helped by this. That's my goal. Go ahead, send this over to them. Send them this channel. Send this episode to them. And I would just love to help. That's just the truth. I'd love to help. And yes, please like and subscribe, because that'll help me continue helping you, the channel. And yeah, in the words of Jerry White, I'm out.
Let's get it.